I'm just trying to start by getting to the truth, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really uncomfortable with that language of like getting to the truth. Again, in social life.
Why is that uncomfortable?
Because it sounds actually deeply transphobic to me.
Deeply transphobic, getting to the truth. Well, that one clip kind of tells you all you need to know about those who are trying to silence Matt Walsh's new documentary, What is a Woman? They found the truth so threatening that last night's premiere was almost thwarted by a reported significant and sustained cyber attack. So what else is it that they don't want you to see? Maybe stuff like this.
I've had 7 surgeries. I've had 1 stress heart attack. I've had a helicopter life ride with a pulmonary embolism. I've had 17 rounds of antibiotics. I get infections every 3 to 4 months. I'm probably not going to live very long.
Was there any real discussion of the risks and the side effects?
No, there's not. And I know that people want to think that there is, but there's not. The truth is that medical transition is experimental.
Matt Walsh joins me now. Matt, I want to get to what happened with the premiere, but explain that last clip. Was that a female to male transition being described?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Scott Nugent is her name, and you know, that's someone who went through the transition process and talks a lot about it in a very open and kind of raw and honest way about what it actually entails, and it's gruesome and it's terrible, and as is described in the film, this is what they're also doing to kids as well. And there's also this interesting contrast of, you know, we talk to a lot of proponents, supporters of gender ideology, the people that are spreading this stuff, and you try to talk to them, they don't want to talk about it. But on the other side of it, the opponents, the people that don't support it, are very open and want to have this conversation. And I think that kind of tells you something. When one side wants to talk about it, the other side doesn't. It kind of gives you a hint right there of who's on the right side.
Because the more you describe what it is, the more sort of people out there go, what? And last night I heard you describe it as chemical castration. Explain that for our audience.
That is quite literally what they are doing to kids. You know, what they refer to euphemistically, and everything that they say is covered in euphemism, but euphemistically they say, well, we're going to give puberty blockers to kids, and then they tell a lot of lies about how it's all reversible and temporary and all that stuff, and that's not true. But the actual drug that they give to kids is called Lupron, and that is a drug that they also give to sex offenders for chemical castration. That is an absolute fact. And this is what's being prescribed to kids, millions of kids all across the country. We talked to at least one of the doctors who does, in fact, prescribe these drugs to kids. And what we found when we talked to that doctor is that that's yet another person who, although they do this every day for a living, they don't actually want to answer any questions about it.
Well, and I want to play a clip from what's called a gender-affirming, speaking of euphemistic language, therapist. Watch.
With the fluidity of these things, how do I know if I'm a woman? You know,
That's a great question.
I like scented candles. And
yeah.
I've watched Sex and the City.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do I know?
Yeah, Matt, that question right there, like that question is like when it's asked with a lot of curiosity, right? That's the beginning of a lot of people's like gender identity development journeys.
Like, I have no idea what any of that meant. I mean, I hear this and I think, are we really living on planet Earth? I mean, we're talking about children. We're talking about children's innocence. We're talking about kids who make so many different decisions that they end up regretting. Matt, this is just insane. And no wonder they wanted to shut your premiere down.
Yeah, and I just want to clarify, I've only seen Sex and the City once, although I do enjoy scented candles, and that's enough to make me a woman, according to the gender-affirming counselor. And that's the thing that we encounter in this film a lot, that on the surface, it's you run up against these things, and you have to laugh. It's funny because it's so absurd, and that is the appropriate response to absurdity. But then you go one level under, you go beneath the surface, and you see that there's something quite sinister happening here.
Matt, What is a Woman? It is Daily Wire. I have it on the website there for the subscription, but they won't succeed in shutting you down again, I don't think. Thanks for joining us tonight.